There we go. Okay, welcome everyone. So this first class, we are going to cover just the basics in profiles, both your Max Center profile and the kvCORE profile. So let me share my screen. All right, so I'm going to start out with logging into Max Center. So everyone who has joined Remax Alliance, you should have all created a remax.net email address or been invited to create one. And you were also invited to create a password in order to log into Max Center. So to get to Max Center, you just go to remax.net and you'll log in there with your remax.net email address and a password. So I am going to log in as an agent here because my account actually does look different than an agent account. So I'm going to use an agent account to demonstrate today. So once you logged in, you're going to get to the Max Center dashboard here. And we're going to go to the profile, and you get there by clicking on the hello. It'll have your name up the top there. And when you click on that, you'll see there's one big link right in the middle here to update your profile. It's a good idea to make sure that everything is up to date in your Max Center profile for several reasons. One is that all of this information does go over to the kvCORE platform, which is what our classes are about here. So all of this information that in your Max Center profile is going to get pushed over to kvCORE. It's also used in every other app and different platforms that are available for you to use in Max Center. There's quite a bit in there that you guys can use that's offered from remax.com. So we're going to go through, not all of it in here, but we'll cover just some basics and things that you need to keep in mind. So when you first log in here, you're going to see all of your information. There's some different sections on the left here. And you'll see there's edit buttons on the right. So the first thing that I want to cover is, we're just going to go through each of these sections on the left here. But in general info, you can see your name, your team name if you belong to a team, birth date, all kinds of information. One of the things that we want to make sure is in here, and Marianne does not have it, is your title. So if you click on that top edit button where Marianne's name and everything is, you'll see she doesn't have a job title in here. This is fine. We just wanted to point out that on your remax.com website, if you don't have a title in there, it just defaults to associate, which is kind of boring. So we would suggest that you put something else in there. Maybe realtor or broker associate or something like that. So I'm going to change this in Marianne's profile here. And then once you make that change, you're just going to hit save on any of these sections that you make changes. So we just like to make sure you get a job title in there just so it shows up as something other than associate with your website. All right, under contact info, there's a few things in here that we want to point out, just some details that you may not know. But up at the top, you'll see your remax.net email address and your ISP email address. So one of the things to keep in mind is that remax.net email address is just a forward, right? It's not an actual email account. It's just forwarding to your regular email. And so in this account, you can see Marianne's remax.net email address is forwarding to her MSN email. So if Marianne were to switch to Gmail, or something else, she needs to come in here and make sure she has her Gmail address in here so that the remax.net email address forwards to the correct one. So if you ever change your email like that, just keep that in mind. You need to come into Max Center and update it. All right, for website and social media links, there is one little detail in here that we need to show you. On all of these, for website and social media links, you need to have both of these checkboxes checked, set as primary and include in web directory. And this is to ensure that all of these URLs come over to the kvCORE platform and that they're visible on the remax.com roster for anybody who's searching for you on remax.com. So again, once you make that change, just hit save. One other thing to note for your Facebook page here, we recommend that you create a Facebook business page and use your business page Facebook profile in here. I wouldn't put a personal Facebook page profile in here. There are parts of kvCORE and possibly other apps within Max Center that will work in conjunction with your Facebook page, but they only work with a Facebook business page. One of those things is a little Facebook chat feature that you can have on your kvCORE website. Again, it's not going to work with a personal Facebook page. It has to work with a business page. So just keep that in mind.
Shannon,
All right,
before you leave that, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
So Facebook pages, is that the same for groups? Can you put a group on there, or does it actually have to be a
I think
Facebook
it has to be a business page. I don't think it'll
Okay.
work with groups. Tracy,
Okay.
do you have any experience with that? Oh, you're muted, Tracy.
Yep, I say I do. The group pages are different. They don't work under here. You want to have it as a business page, and particularly when that, at least when you're in your kvCORE and you also want to add the Facebook Messenger to your website, it's got to be a business page. It won't, the groups are just set up very differently and they just don't work the same. So it won't, that feature won't work. Yeah, so that's what I have found.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, also on a side note, this just came hot off the press because I sent a support ticket in because I had a question about the web and social media sites. It used to be that we had to go in and not only set the website as set as primary, but we also had to do it for the social media sites. That is not the case anymore. So the only
really?
one that you want to set as primary is your website. Your other social media, so you want to uncheck set as primary for Facebook because things have changed, and when this feeds into your remax.com profile where people can find you, if you have, like, say your Facebook set as primary instead of your agent website, then when they click on the button to view your website, it actually goes to your Facebook page. So just when you're looking at this, just make sure that only your agent website is set as primary, and double check your other social medias and make sure to uncheck if it says set as primary. That's new, just, recently.
Okay, so for the agent website, so the website is the only one that you want to have set as primary to check that. Okay, social media accounts, no. Okay, moving on to the phone number. One thing to note with phone numbers in here, if you put your mobile number in here, make sure you select that it is a mobile and cell number. Okay, and again, this one needs to be set as primary as well, right, Tracy?
And
Okay.
you can only set one phone number as your primary, and that specifically also feeds into kvCORE. So obviously you most likely want your cell phone to be the one set as primary.
If that's the one, yeah, that you usually use. So, and then let's see, Marianne has a fax number down here. Let's see, include in web directory. Okay, so that one doesn't even have one. Okay, so just one phone number can be your primary. Okay, moving on down on the left here, we always recommend that you get a nice up-to-date photo in your Max Center profile. This is one of the things that we demonstrate in our FAST classes. Anybody who's using that Remax referral network, they want to be able to see your face. They want to know a little bit about you. So we always recommend that you get a little bio in here, tell people about yourself, get some personal details in there, because a lot of people within Remax, they use that referral system. And if you don't have a photo in your Max Center profile, you show up with just a balloon. So you're kind of a balloon head, and it doesn't look professional, right? So I recommend that you get a photo in there and get a little personal bio in there. And then the other important thing to remember in your Max Center profile is your MLS IDs. More than one if you have more than one, but make sure those are in there. Iris did change their agent codes a couple of years ago, so make sure the right one is in there. This is how the system ties all of your listings to you on the platform so that they come through to your remax.com website. Okay, and then Marianne has a team here. So if you are the team lead for a team, you'll also see all of your team information on the left-hand side here. So again, I would go through the team profile, the photo, do you have a team photo, and get some information in there for your team as well. Okay, so those are the things that we wanted to cover in the Max Center profile. And now Tracy is going to cover everything in kvCORE that you need to know. So let me stop sharing.
All right, and hopefully you're gonna probably see a couple windows here, but hopefully it is showing all right. But once you get into kvCORE, so that's from clicking on the platform Max Tech powered by kvCORE. Sometimes you may not see it right on your dashboard, so if you click on the apps and tools, then you'll see it, and you can bookmark it too. So then it'll show up at the top for you. And then from here, I just want to side note a little thing here. You're going to notice we're going to start putting little company announcements up at the top here. So just a reminder about our next agent, training that'll be on Wednesday, and then we'll have the link in here. And we also, if you click on the company cloud, we will also have links here. So for instance, this is the full outline that gives you the details about the series, and we'll have additional links that'll be in there too, just to make it easy for you guys to access and be able to look at. So with that being said, now we'll go into your profile. So where you find that, and I am under me, so it'll look a little different, but not much. You'll click where it has your name, and then you're going to go to my profile. So now from here, what happens is you want to go in and edit. Now keep in mind, just as Shannon was talking about and walking through your Max Center profile, any updates that you want to make, you really need to go into your Max Center profile and update it there. And then just know that sometimes it doesn't update or sync right away. Sometimes it will take a little bit. It could take a few hours. It sometimes can take a day, but usually it will be fairly quick. So when you come in here, you can click edit. And then I'm just going to highlight, because a lot of what you update in your Max Center should feed into here, but you can definitely double check. And again, like your cell phone should show here. And then you should also make sure that this says show on site, just to double check. It should be fine, because in Max Center, we had it set as primary, but it doesn't hurt just to also make sure that it's showing here. And just keep in mind again that you can only have one showing on your site. So you can't, you want to make sure that you have just one of those selected. It's going to pull your remax.net email in here. One thing I would recommend is that you do come in here and put your name. And that's just when things do get sent out on your behalf under kvCORE, it's going to have your name on there. So it'll display when it goes through. So I would just recommend that you put your name in there. Now, this vanity email address, there has been some updates and some things going on with this, and I'll kind of explain and show you a visual on this too. So what happens, you may have noticed in the past, maybe if you were sending things under kvCORE, whether it's campaigns or just some particular email, sometimes it was going into spam. And so the reason for that is because there's been so many changes going on with Gmail and Google, and how emails are, with spam and how they filter and that type of thing. And so kvCORE realized that this was becoming a problem, and they are actually fixing it. So now I want to kind of show you, hopefully you can see this over here on this side here. I want to kind of explain what this means, because if you have a general email, so what that means, if you have, like your name at Gmail or your name at Outlook or, any of those general providers, you do not want to put your email address under this vanity email address, because in order for this to work, so what this means with a vanity email is, let's say you have, Tracy at tracyshare.com, or, whatever your custom domain is, and your custom email, your domain email, that is what you want to put in here. Because what happens is then this will prevent that spam happening, because then Google verifies that, okay, this is a domain email address and it's not just a generic email. So if you don't, and it's okay, if you don't have a vanity custom domain email, you leave that blank. And what is going to happen is kvCORE now is creating a vanity email for you. So it'll look like how they have the format here, your name at realestatealerts.com. From my understanding, and this is very new, this just happened in June, they are going to automatically populate that. I don't know if it's automatically going to be put in here. Still verifying that, but just know that they are going to add it automatically. So that will stop the spams from, at least hopefully it'll help alleviate some of that. So your emails won't automatically go into spam when they get sent to your clients. So just hopefully that makes sense. I wanted to visually kind of explain it because it is a little confusing. Just know if you have a general email, do not put anything in this vanity email. It's only if you have a domain email address. So from there, we'll move on. The other thing in here, you'll see it will display your website. And again, it should be feeding in based on what you put in your Mac Center profile. It can also sometimes just be an automatic thing. It might have the remax.com, but don't really worry about it under here. Again, just focus on what you have your updates in your Mac Center. Now, there is an option here to add a lender. There's a couple of different layers to this, but just to show you, let's say I want to pull Joan from HMA into here. I can, but there is another layer. If you have a lender, and let's say it's not a lender from HMA, you need to reach out to your office administrator, and or we have to go in and add it office level, and then you would be able to come in and pull your lender in. So if we have our HMA loan officers in here, but if it's somebody else you want to add, you need to reach out to the office and they will add it, and then you'll be able to pull them in here. One thing we are also doing, particularly if they're not with HMA, you want to uncheck to show on your website. There is another way, and I will show down the road when we do trainings how we can actually add under a tab a link to your lender and their contact information if you want that. But for now, we're just saying, don't, please, especially if they're not with HMA, to not have that checked. And then in here, the rest of it, again, should be feeding through this YouTube. One thing I have noticed, especially if you do have a YouTube channel, I've noticed that it's not syncing from your Mac Center profile into here. So it won't be, it's not a bad idea to at least put your YouTube URL in here, especially if you want it to feed into your website. I don't know. I've seen it sometimes just feed in anyways, but just to be safe, if you really want that to show, then I would put that in there. And then some of this other stuff, as you see about me, this is supposed to be pulling your bio in from your Mac Center. So that's not really that big of a deal if it's not under here, because again, just because we are Remax and then also kvCORE, that's why we have a little bit different layers, is because we have so much of our stuff that is coming from Remax, from our Mac Center, and feeding into here. So the other part I want to show you, and I feel like we'll have a little time, we will be done with training a little early. So I'm going to walk you through how you can add your email signature under here. What happens is kvCORE will create like a default for you, which it's fine, but I would use your signature that you use in your, email that you use on a daily basis. So there's a couple tricks. What you can do, I'm just going to delete this so I can show you. You can go to say like your email. So if you go to your Gmail and you go to your sent email, open one of your sent emails and pull your email signature. Just all you're going to do is just click on your email signature at the bottom. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to hit the little download. So then that'll go into your downloads. Then you'll go back into your kvCORE signature here. You're going to click on the image and you're going to click upload. And then you're going to go pull that image that you just downloaded. And then you're going to open it and it'll pop it in here. One thing, so the size that it likes under here, you don't have to really remember this, but it's like 512, 521 to 521. It likes it to be a little bit more square, but obviously mine is a little bit longer. What I would just recommend is I would change the width to 600. That way, if it's also on mobile, it just will kind of be a little bit better size-wise. Don't worry about the height, just worry about the width. Change it to 600 if it's bigger than that, and then you'll hit save. And then it just pops it in here. The next thing you want to do is you want to just make sure that you have this button turned on to include it on all of your outgoing emails. So I do want to show you because sometimes you may not have an image like this. Let's say you have a signature that has like these hyperlinks and things, kind of like Tiffany. You can do the same thing. Go to your sent email, go pull this, copy your signature, come back in here, paste it, and it keeps it all intact, and it should keep your hyperlinks intact too. And you can just double check. You can click on it just to make sure that the links are right. If they're not, then you would just go in and, go pull that URL and pop it back in here and hit save. So just a couple different ways that you can do that. So I'll pull my other one back in here, but same thing. You just also want to make sure that that include signature on all your outgoing emails is in there. And then the other parts I want to show you in here is over in the top right where it shows settings. You can click on here. So just to walk you through a few things here, where it is showing lead privacy. So just remember this is on the agent settings level. As a company, we have the settings for leads or your contacts, I should say, that are in your, kvCORE Smart CRM. They are all set as private. We don't have access to them unless you give us access. And it is on a company-wide level set as private. This layer is, you can put it as make contacts private, that's fine. This could come into play if, let's say you're on a team. There's also where you could hide contacts from your team. And obviously that's a conversation with, you and your team, how you want that to look. But that's what these buttons are based on the agent level. If you want the contacts to be private and, for you just specifically as an agent or as being part of a team. Now this lead routing, completely optional to you, but what happens is, so this lead routing is tied to, we have a whole nother, routing section for leads that come in from our Remax.com, and then also from our office websites. So it's all kind of tied to this. And what happens with the lead routing with the on vacation, it's completely up to you. But if you say we're going to be on maybe leave or on vacation for extended amount of time, and you didn't want leads to come in, you could turn this on, and then that just means that nothing would be coming in lead wise until you came back and turned that back on. So that's what that is. And then obviously it should be the default that you're placed as an agent, placed in rotation. I obviously am out because of staff, but this button would be gray instead of blue. And you just want to double check that. If for some reason you feel like you're not getting leads, just make sure that that's turned on. So here's another where it says status to receive calls. So we have this beta concierge program that we are part of, and I've heard mixed things about, what one layer of it is you need to make sure that you come into or log into kvCORE every 30 days. That, from our understanding, is one of the big parts or layers as to how then you will be potentially getting leads from the concierge program. And so what that means is concierge, what they do is if they get enough information that's valid, they really work that lead. And then once they feel that they're a little bit warmer, then they push it back to us. And then it does the round robin and it goes to one of our agents. And you'll see it come through as a concierge. There'll be a hashtag and it'll say, concierge eligible and some other hashtags that are tied to that. But with that being said, I've also heard that if you come in here and add these status, so this is statuses, and we're going to cover this when we go through the smart CRM under kvCORE. This is how you can label some of your different contacts and your leads and your sphere. You can go in and label them. But what I have heard is it's a good idea to add to receive calls, prospect, new lead, and active lead. So what this is meaning is you can come in here and you can tell kvCORE, it's like, okay, so I have active and new leads, and I want kvCORE to automatically create a call list for me every day. And maybe I want it to also create it on the weekends where it's going to give me a list of contacts to call, and I'm telling it what time that I want that list. And then it gives you that notification, and it's just another layer. And it's just kind of random. I don't know all the algorithm details on it, how kvCORE goes through and picks the ones for each day. But if you put the status in and then turn these on however you like, and you can also say how many and then the time, and then it'll populate that for you. But for the concierge part, I just say it doesn't hurt to also add these 3 statuses in here. You don't necessarily have to turn on the call list. I just heard that sometimes this might be another qualifier. So until we get that complete verification on it, I think it's just good to have it in there. And then the other part down here where it says holidays, again, that is completely up to you. But if you say, hey, during these particular holidays, I don't want to receive any leads, you just turn these buttons on, and then it just will skip. If there were, during that time frame, a lead coming in, it would skip and you wouldn't receive anything for that particular day. And then once everything looks good, then you just would hit save, and then it's going to update everything that you have just done. So this send email, this doesn't really work so much under this feature, so just ignore it. Sometimes there's some layers to this, like if we as admin, we could come in and we could send an email. But for you guys, when you click on this, it's like you're sending an email to yourself. So it doesn't really work. So just ignore that. The other right here where it says daily call task creation, this is just basically a summary of what you just did in your settings. So that's just giving you a preview and another way that you could go in and edit. If you are looking at it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't look right, you can edit that there as well. Where it shows offices, again, this is me as, admin. It's just going to show your office that you are tied to. So, that's what is just displaying here, is giving you a summary of your office. If you're on a team, it will also list your team members. And I'm going to show you in a minute, especially if you are the team lead, there is another profile that you can go in that's tied to your team. And I'll just show you, it might actually show up here. I don't know, but I'll show you in another section where you can pull your team profile and you can update that as well. And then under here where it says appointment availability. So this is a fairly new feature. You are able to come in here and you can schedule appointments, you can share, and you can also have, when you send it out, that your sphere could also come in and schedule something. There are some other layers that I'll just briefly mention, and this will be in when we go through the dashboard and do the training, and we'll walk through this a little bit more. But you do also have the capability to sync, say, your Gmail or your Outlook. So then that would mean your emails would then sync into kvCORE, your contacts could sync, and then that also means your Google Calendar could also sync. So that is also another layer where this could tie and be able to, schedule appointments, because it can see when you're available and when you're not. One thing, and I just was playing with this because I did notice the appointment availability, you might want to go in and just edit the times. It was defaulting to 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So, you can go, I just clicked on the edit button and you basically could just come in here and change the time that you want and adjust it the way you would like to see it. So you just kind of go through and make sure it shows, and then it'll display here, and then you can hit save. You can also, if you are, say, going to be on vacation, you can put that in there. So then it'll show that you're not available during those times. And then once you're done, you can just save it. So that is most of that. The other layer, just as a team, you can come over and click on your name again, and then it should, under teams, you can pull, and then you can click on your team. So obviously
Wait.
you see more.
Tracy, I'm still in Mary Ann's account if you want me to show hers.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Because I was like, mine just looks so different. Sorry.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm still logged in as Mary Ann, and Mary Ann is a team leader. So in her kvCORE account, I'm in her profile section here. Under teams, where Tracy was pointing out, you can see Mary Ann has her team here. And so if she clicks on that, that will bring her to her team profile details. So again, she can change the things in here. They are a little bit different. You're going to see different things in here for a team. For instance, this tagline at the top here. The tagline is the line that appears at the top of the agent website. Oops, oh, I closed her website. Right above that property search bar. So again, there is like kind of a default tagline in there, so you can change it here to something more meaningful if you'd like. And then you're going to see some other buttons here. There's lead routing. Teams have the ability to create their own lead routing rules. So if your team does get some leads from kvCORE, you can route them out to, however you like. If you want to do it round robin style to all of your team members, or, if you want certain leads going to certain team members, you can create rules to do that. And then you'll see the website button to access your website and edit it is right there. And teams also have the ability to create team hashtags. And so you'll be able to do that within the profile here. You can add hashtags if you want to use certain hashtags, if you're creating smart campaigns or something for the team specifically, this is where you'd create those hashtags. It's in a little bit different spot than if you were to do it as an agent, an individual agent. But other than that, a lot of the contact info and social media information, again, a lot of it will be coming over from that kvCORE team, or kvCORE, sorry, Max Center team profile. So you'd want to edit it there first. And then, you know, whatever isn't coming over, you can come in here and adjust it here in your team profile. So that's kind of what that looks like. Over on the right here, you can see all of the team members. And you'll see here, Marianne is the team lead, so it says she's team admin. We do have the ability to add other admins. Her office administrator in the Loveland office, Samantha, is in here as an admin as well, so that Samantha has the ability to help Marianne with her team settings and everything in kvCORE. If Robbie here, Robbie MG, is another team member. If Marianne wants Robbie to be able to help with the team account in kvCORE, they can reach out to support and say, hey, we would like Robbie to be a team admin in kvCORE as well. The RE/MAX support folks can help with that in making other team admins or adding admins to the team. Anything else we need to cover, Tracy?
No, I think that's pretty much it. So we can definitely open it up to questions. And I saw Chrissy, your question about if you can add more than one lender. So there's a couple layers to it. I've had this happen where I've had an agent, she's had a couple lenders. So I was able to go in on the office level and add them. And then what happens is I've actually created a couple little tabs where then they could click on her website. I did this just directly on her website, where then I went in and put the link to the different lenders that she had, so then it would direct them there. So there is a way that you can.
Okay, so
it's
there's a way to
basically
have them display on the website. Yeah, I wasn't seeing a way to add more than one in that field in the profile. So I don't think you can select more than one there. But yeah, we can figure out a way to display more
Tracy,
than one on your website.
sorry, who do we reach out to? You keep talking about reaching out to somebody to approve the lender. Who is that?
To
Chrissy
add
just sent it.
lenders, yeah, your office
add it.
administrator, or yeah, Tracy or I can add a lender to kvCORE in order for you to be able to select them. Yes.
So can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So in regard to the lender, in what context, what are we using it for? What would having that in there do? What are you doing with it?
The lender can use kvCORE in similar ways that you can. They can create a profile, they can go in there, and you guys can like share leads and whatnot. If you want your lender to take part in whatever you're doing in kvCORE, they can. They'll have a profile and an account too, and you guys can work together on things.
Okay.
So there's quite a lot of stuff that the lenders can do in there. Yeah, it's just entirely up to you if you want to leverage that in your account.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
well, thank
guys.
you. Yeah, thank you all for attending.